Okay, good evening. I'm going to get started here. Ms. Josette Shaughnessy, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, good evening. Before we get started, I'd like to make a little announcement. I don't know if you all know or not, our president's a little shy. He doesn't like to blow his own horn, but our president was elected as chair-elect of the organization of the American Association of Community Colleges. It's a national appointment, so let's give him a round of applause. I know he's going to do a great job, and it's well-deserved. Okay, Pamela, is there anybody who would like to speak this evening? You want me to?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You have anybody? Let me just say that all the board members are present. Ms. Sanchez, Judge Haggerty, Ms. Narhat, and Dr. Graham are present, so we have a quorum to start the meeting. Do we have anybody that's signed up to speak?
We do. Are we going to address that for the approval of minutes?
Oh, yes. Let's just get this.
Okay. All right. We have Jessica Ayala from the Respiratory Care Program, who is going to address the board on the smoking policy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Could you step over to the mic? We got it.
Good afternoon. How are you all doing
Now I
today?
can hear you. There you go. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to be passing out a few packets with a bit of information about what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm here representing the Respiratory Care Program at EPCC as well as the Student Government Association. And we are here today to ask the administration at our college to adopt a policy designating EPCC as a smoke-free and tobacco-free institution for the well-being of our community. Our goal for the past 7 years has been to coordinate an approach to tobacco control, which includes different components to prevent the inhalation of smoking among young people, promoting quality among adults and young people, and eliminating secondhand smoke. And this is to include the use of e-cigarettes. So what I wanted to talk about today is whether you all are aware or not, smoking continues to be the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the United States, according to the CDC, as well as cigarette smoking, which causes approximately 480,000 deaths per year. I do know that smoking is a personal choice. However, there are students in the campus who are affected by secondhand smoke. As you all are aware, we do have the early college at Valle Verde and Mission Del Paso. These students are as young as 15 years old, and they're exposed to the secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke does cause many illnesses. It does cause, it may trigger their asthma if they have asthma, for example. Allergies, they also develop respiratory tract infections, things like that. I'm not too sure if y'all are aware, but lung cancer is a very common cancer in the United States, and 85 to 95% of lung cancer is caused by cigarette smoking. Other diseases associated with smoking include, COPDs, emphysema, interstitial lung disease, pulmonary fibrosis, just to name a few things. E-cigarettes are no good as well. You are burning chemicals, and students or whoever uses the e-cigarettes, which is very popular among the generation nowadays, they are inhaling that into their lungs. I do want to remind or aware everyone that the lung organ is not a regenerative organ, so it does not regenerate. Whatever damage is done to the lungs is permanent damage. The only way to prevent that damage is to completely stop smoking. In the packets that I provided, I hope I provided enough for everyone. I'm sorry if I didn't. I do have the city ordinance the Clean Air Act, which was established in 2001, amended in 2014, which has a few changes in it, and it pretty much states, most of El Paso is smoke-free, including parks, recreational areas, arenas, public libraries, anything that is owned by the city of El Paso.
Okay, your 3 minutes is up. I know we have some other people scheduled to speak,
Yes, sir.
but in the matter of time, because you've had so many people. So who's next on the list there? Pamela?
Daisy Alvarado.
Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Daisy Alvarado. I'm here on behalf of the Clean Air Coalition. I am a member of the Clean Air Coalition, and I'm also a former employee of EPCC. I was an academic tutor at the Valle Verde campus, and I'm here to support the students on this policy. I understand EPCC's responsibility to provide a safe environment, also a very comfortable environment, not only to the students, but also to their employees. So I think this is a very big step that EPCC could potentially take in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. John Adams.
Good evening. My name is John Adams. I'm the Director of Health, Wellness, and Physical Education for the El Paso Independent School District. I just came from an event, a fitness event on one of our campuses, and I think it's important for you guys to know that because they just took us through a very intense exercise program that we didn't have to worry about recovering in a smoke-filled environment. And so our students at the community college campuses for our early college high schools don't have that advantage. They're exposed to whatever's there on the tobacco side. In addition, I hope you all would consider the use of vaping devices as well. So there's a lot of research that shows that high levels of nicotine in the developing brain, which includes individuals up to the age of 25 years of age, is very harmful. Not so much so in adults, but for kids under age of 25, it's very harmful to them. And when they're being exposed to it in a learning environment, I think that just encourages their response to participate in those kinds of activities. And we have an obligation to protect them from these harmful substances. So I would ask that you please consider this policy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Antonio Ayala.
So my name's Antonio Ayala. I'm a registered vascular technician, registered diagnostic medical sonographer. I come across PAD very frequently. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've had a lot of patients, cigarette smokers specifically, where we try to save their limbs. However, it does not happen. Cigarette smoking will cause a 30 to 40% increase in hypercalcemia. So hyperlipidemia will increase, which that means atherosclerotic disease, which means plaque buildup will begin in the arteries at a higher rate. When you have that, you will stop any type of oxygen going to the tissue. When that happens, ischemia begins. Ischemia begins, you run the risk of having an amputation because you will then later create gangrene, okay? Speaking to a doctor here, I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about. So cigarette smoking, especially surrounded by a young population, a bunch of us millennials, seeing this around our area, it's not a good thing. Even tobacco companies have already started to invest in other properties. Why is that? Because tobacco is going down. The cigarette sales are going down. So at this point, for us to save some limbs, we should start considering our millennials to stop the smoking. So I really want you guys to consider this policy as me being in the field for so long, knowing what I see, what I do, so just for the sake of our
Thank
students.
you so much for your information.
Thank
who's
you.
next, Pam?
Annette Torres.
Good evening. I'm here representing not only the Clean Air Coalition, but I work for a smoke-free Paso del Norte, and we are a smoke-free initiative here in your community. We helped take UTEP tobacco-free. We helped pass the first clean air ordinance, but most importantly, we're working with the UT system, who has an Eliminate Tobacco Use program. They helped all 14 institutions within Texas adopt smoke and tobacco-free policies. And so we're here to provide any assistance that the college needs in order to review a policy, implement a policy, and continue its enforcement. So as a resource to you, we offer not only that, but of course our coordination with the other institutions within Texas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anna Fabian.
Good evening. My name is Anna Fabian, and I am a registered nurse, graduated from the EPCC ADM program in 2016. What I would like to talk to you about, as I am well aware, you know, my colleagues spoke about the health consequences of smoking. Well, I will like to talk to you about the very core of humanity, its values, which is autonomy. Autonomy is being able to make decisions for yourself. Now, I understand that smoking is a decision that an individual makes. However, not smoking is also a decision that we like to make. So when we are exposed to secondhand smoke, we are being, that decision, our autonomy, our very core of humanity, is being taken away from us. We decide not to smoke for our health reasons, and still, through somebody else, we are exposed to all those health risks. And I don't think that is very fair. Now, I remember one of the points that the opposition made was that we were trying to impose moral values. Well, maybe we are, because respect is a moral value.
I hate to interrupt, but it's time. Next.
Alex Rodriguez.
Hello, President Sarada, faculty and board. My name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm actually going to be here and next year at the El Paso Community College District. Within me, with people that are standing here with me, is actually going to be more than likely with us here at the next year, and they're actually the movers and shakers here when it comes to the student community. I just want to say that even though whatever happens from here, it's always going to be a fight with us when it comes to the student government. I will be here next year to advocate no matter what, because it's you know, it's already been going 7 years, and you know, this needs to end. That's all I just wanted to say, and I'll still keep on fighting for it, and my colleagues here will also still keep on fighting for this policy to be changed. Thank you.
Darcy Travenstead.
Good evening. As a former student, a current employee, a former smoker, and a current non-smoker, I see the aspects in all ways. I've been on both sides of the fence of each a student, an employee, non-smoker, and smoker. Due to my smoking and my things that I've done in my lifetime, I have become with breathing problems. I have COPD. I have fibromyalgia. I also have a heart that I have a leaky valve that goes into my lungs. This requires me to have a rescue inhaler on me at all times. I'm on 2 inhalers in the morning, 2 inhalers in the evening, plus when I get really bad, I have to use a nebulizer on top of all of it. I have been hospitalized multiple times, and these times I have been hospitalized at least 5 to 10 days on oxygen. I use this mask not only in this fight for clean air, but I have to use this mask to walk in from my car to the building because of people smoking.
It's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Rachel Lynn Williams.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Williams, and as y'all know, we're talking about smoke-free EPCC for safety. As we've mentioned, there's a big, huge concern with health. May I get a show of hands who in here either has asthma or knows someone with asthma? On top of that, anyone that possibly may have allergies. Studies show from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 13 people. From my research, there's over 25,000 students that come to EPCC. That's over 2,000 students that possibly face suffering from the smoke that when passing to the doors. I myself, even though I don't have asthma, I am highly allergic to cigarettes. These masks are not justice for what it's like walking to the door. It's literally like taking a straw and trying to breathe through it as it's clogged. It's really, really hard. Now, some of these studies that they talk about how it's harmful not only for lung cancer, but also other sicknesses and diseases. It is the 6th leading cause for chronic illness in the U.S.
Ma'am,
says
your time is up, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Next. Sit. Okay, is there anyone here that want to speak on the other side of the issue? Okay. To let you all know, I have scheduled a board retreat in June with Dr. Serrata. As you all know, we're in the middle of a election, and we're gonna probably have a new board here set in May, and I'll make sure that that's on the agenda, this issue of your policy that you're asking us to look at. So we'll take care of it when the new board is set. But I really do appreciate all you getting involved. I think it's great to see all you young people get involved with this issue. And I can just tell you that we will look at this issue very, very seriously. Thank you very much. Anybody else, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I did leave off one person.
Oh.
We weren't quite sure on the name. I think it's Evangelina De Luna.
Well, come on.
Good evening, esteemed board members, President Serrata. I hope everybody's doing fine this evening. My name is Evangeline De Luna. I'm a respiratory care practitioner, and I have been for 50 years. I've also been working for the college, helping produce the best respiratory therapists you can get out there for 30 years. You heard a lot of comments this evening, the pros and cons of smoking, mainly the cons. There's nothing good about smoking. The damages, the permanent damages that we see are irreversible. I worked too long with patients on mechanical life support. I worked too long with children that were victims of smokers in their home. It's criminal. That's what I'm going to call it, criminal. There's no reason for anybody to be subjected to the harms of cigarette smoke. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Anybody else have anything to say before we get started with the meeting? All right, again, thank you very much. Okay, Pam.
Item 1.4, approval of minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
Call the question?
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Okay, I'd like to welcome you all again to our meeting this month, and we'll continue on with the meeting. 1.7, Pam?
Item 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, and organizations. We have no retirees here this evening, so we'll go to item 1.7.2. Dr. Sylvia Acosta, CEO of the YWCA El Paso del Norte region, will make a presentation on the use of pilot funds to pay for child care services for children of EPCC students at the YWCA Early Learning Centers.
Hi, thank you so very much for allowing us the opportunity to be here. We have had, do I just use this? Okay, we have had a tremendous, okay, well,
hold on. I'm not inclined. It's not me. Wonderful. So we have had a, do I just go like this? Okay, thanks. We have had a tremendous partnership with El Paso Community College for many years. We are fortunate to be able to take care of the children of your amazing students. And we currently have 2 early learning academies at your sites. We have one of them at Valle Verde campus, which is right by my neighborhood where I grew up. I lived in that little neighborhood. And then the other one is at Trans Mountain. And what we do in our early learning academies is we do social emotional development, emergent literacy, mathematics, science, social studies, and fine arts, even with little kiddos, because we need to make sure that they are school ready when they go to school. And so we make sure that they are ready. Our sites are also NACE accredited, which is the highest accreditation you can have nationally, and we have 4-star rated programs. So we have historically received pilot funds from El Paso Community College. Last year was the first year we hadn't received any, but we're really good at stretching our dollars. And so we were able to stretch our dollars to serve a few students last year. And what we have done is we've limited it to El Paso Community College students that are taking 9 hours or more, so that we could make the money stretch a little longer. And so what we do is we help to fund their childcare with these pilot funds. Next. So these are the students. So we have partnered with the Student Retention Committee at El Paso Community College. We're also partnering with their early childhood education program at El Paso Community College. We're trying to hire your students to come and work at it's like a living learning lab right on campus. And so we're working with you to try to partner with you to try to provide them an opportunity to get hands-on training while they're with us. And so we received this information from the EPCC Student Retention Committee, the applicants that had noted that they had children, and they had noted that on their financial aid form. Next. As you can see, the number of child cares at universities and at community colleges is declining, but the need is increasing, which is really interesting. But we're very fortunate that in El Paso, we've been able to secure at least 2 sites at El Paso Community College, and then we have 1 site at UTEP. So El Paso is a very progressive city that cares about their children, so thank you for that. So these are the funds that we received. The number of children, 29. The pilot funds, 21,040. We were able to serve 12 children at the amount of 11,355, and for a total of 32,395. So if you see, the 11,000 was the Perkin grants that we used to get, and also the pilot funds grants that we used to get. And traditionally, we'd received a lot more money in prior years. But we know that those pilot funds normally come from, and am I correct, they still come from the Housing Authority? They come from the Housing Authority. So when you all don't receive pilot funds, it makes it very you can't give us any money because you all didn't receive any. So we've been very appreciative that every year that you have received pilot funds, they have gone to the child care. The next number. Oh, I'm sorry. Questions or comments on that? Yes.
Dr. Acosta, thank you for being here. Very much appreciate your time and, of course, your expertise on these issues. The question that I have is on the pilot funds. Are these state funds that go through the Housing Authority, or are these federal funds that then go through the Housing Authority?
I'll let your team, because it actually comes directly to you.
To the college, okay.
I believe those are federal funds. Those are payment in lieu of taxes that are distributed for those low income units, and because we don't collect property taxes, and so those funds, I believe, come from a federal program originally.
Have we seen, at least for this year, any reduction in those funds?
There is a reduction because they're converting now to what they call, they call it rental assistance demonstration program. And so the housing authority, because I question, we used to get anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000 a year. And the fact that now the housing authority is changing their program, they're going to be doing away with those kind of that kind of program, and they are converting that into a rental assistance demonstration program, which means that pilot funds will go away. They expect to be fully converted at the end of December of 2020, but they're sort of lagging behind on the program.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I will say that we had a partnership with the Housing Authority as well, and we had dollars that were coming in to support their participants, and they have done away with all of that money. But I will say that the YWCA, we have what we call We Care scholarships. Those We Care scholarships come from our funds. We have a foundation, and that foundation is dedicated to supporting our community and our children. And so we provide, in those instances where some of your students may not have the funding because the pilot funds are gone, or other funding that they may not access, we have two ways to help them. One is through a grant that we will give them to subsidize their child care, and the other is, well, we have three. The other is we received a Texas Veterans Commission grant, and many of your students qualify for that, which means that if any student is a veteran, then those students can get very reduced child care. Last year, we were helping to cover almost 100% of child care with that grant. The third way, so we have our We Care scholarships, we have our Texas Veterans Grant, and then the third way is we manage the CCS program. The CCS program is the Child Care Services Program, and that's run through the Texas Workforce Commission. And so we educate your students that may be low income into understanding that they can get on the wait list and get their child care completely paid for through the CCS program. Right now, we're partnering with your Student Success Program to try to educate your students on those scholarships and those grants that are available to them, because we know how important child care is to your particular students.
Thank you, Dr. Acosta. One other question that I have, and I don't know if Dr. Serrata, you can answer this, or maybe somebody from the college. How are we connecting with the students who would benefit for these child care services to ensure that they're aware that these scholarships are available, that child care is available? How are we doing that? Are we doing this during registration? Are we doing it during midterms when there may be a need for increased child care?
So I'll begin, Ms. Sanchez, and then I'm happy to have any of the staff continue. So all of our entering students, our first-time in college students, go through an orientation in which we, our counselors and student services, go over many of the services that are available at the institution as well as in the community. So that is an effort for us to be able to address those particular needs. What we're doing is, Mr. Uxer's not here, but we're also moving forward with the HOPE lab analysis to see where our students are with regards to food insecurity, housing insecurity. This is a large concern for all of the students that we serve. Child care services, the basic needs that they have, and we're trying to address all of those in a holistic manner by utilizing the services that are available. I think Dr. Acosta and her team do a tremendous job. I sit on Ms. Wilson's, on the workforce board. We have seen an increase in funding from the state for these particular child care services. So it is I would say that we're looking at a many-pronged approach to dealing with these items for students. This is one of the many that we're looking at.
And And we have a tremendous partnership with El Paso Community College. They are really doing a good job of getting the word out to the students. And I have to commend your team, Dr. Serrata, for being so incredibly helpful and brainstorming with us on how we can reach more students. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Dr. Acosta, have you done any kind of study to see what it would take to get childcare in all of the community college campuses? Do you have money for portables or brick and mortar? Can you tap on your foundation or somebody to come up with something somehow?
No, we can't normally, and I had this discussion, I think, with Dr. Serrata. The way that we do our child care centers is we use existing spaces within the various locations. So, for example, UTEP, they provide a building for us to be able to have childcare services there. EPCC provides the buildings and the spaces at Trans Mountain and at Valle Verde campus. So we would need those spaces available. We can't build or we can't have facilities on land that is not owned by the YWCA, and that land is owned by and would revert back to EPCC. So, and that's the same thing for UTEP. But we are, if you tell us that you need the child care, we will go in there and try to figure out how we can help. We will also try to figure out if there are grants available. One of the things that we've been thinking about is Kaboom is a foundation that actually funds playgrounds. And I know that had been a question that Dr. Serrata had for me, like, do you have money to do playgrounds? And I said, no, because we received our playgrounds through grants. The grant that we got was through a foundation called Kaboom, and they helped to fund that. But Home Depot, we could go into a partnership agreement where we apply for a grant with Home Depot, with Lowe's, with Kaboom, to try to get funding for the playground equipment or whatever it is that you may need. We've already applied. We applied unsuccessfully for one grant with El Paso Community College, but that was such a great experience for us. Your team was great at working with us, so we would be more than willing to partner with you. And we have a process of doing that. We did that with Socorro Independent School District, where we partnered with them on a huge grant, a 21st Century grant. So if this is something that we can do together, we are more than willing.
Well, because I know we brought this up last year, and you were going to look and see what else could be done. And it's not just for our students. Our employees also have
Yes.
little ones that can benefit from a place where they can be developing academically, socially, emotionally in your care. And I know that when we started pushing for that in SISD, you moved on it right away. So the same expectation is for EPCC.
Well, we would love it. And actually, one of the things that we did make your team aware of is that your students could use any of our facilities. So if there's a facility that's closer to them, like for example, the ones that are at the Rio Grande, they could drop their kids off at Joyce Janes. Joyce Janes is less than a mile away from the Rio Grande campus. They could use that as their primary campus, and we would honor whatever it is that we do at Valle Verde or Trans Mountain at any one of our facilities. So if you have kids on the Northwest campus, we have a facility right there off of the Second Mesa exit where the Chase on Bartlett. We have a facility there. They could drop their kids there. So any one of our facilities could be utilized to support the needs of your students.
Do we have the flexibility that if a student has a class on Monday, in one area, but then on Tuesday they have it in another area, can they drop their kiddos off at the different locations?
Yes, we have drop-in days, and they can drop in wherever they are closest to. We don't normally we don't say you can only drop off in this location. They would just need to register at both locations to make sure that we know we have all the proper documentation for the children and for the parents.
And in the event that they were able to identify facilities near each of the campuses until we're able to do a better job at putting them on the campus itself, Do we have a way to reduce the rates for those that are not eligible for any kind of fines? Maybe if we have an institutional membership with Hawaii or something along those lines that could result, and I don't expect you to give me an answer right now, but certainly let's look at that. If, you know, because if there's employees or students that don't qualify for any kind of financial assistance for the child care, but they could qualify for a reduced rate, that would of course be of some help as well.
Actually, we have a partnership agreement with SISD that is that we could absolutely replicate at EPCC, and that would, it's a corporate partnership agreement, and what we would do is we would provide reduced childcare, reduced after-school care for El Paso Community College staff, employees, students, all of those. We would just need to move on that, but that's very easy, and they could actually even have a reduced rate at our health and wellness facilities as well.
Because you've already got the MOU over there, so all we have to do is present it here and see if we can make that work.
Absolutely, we would do that. If you wanted us here next week, we'll do that next time you meet. We can put that together.
So can you follow up on that? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Acosta.
Oh, thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1.7.3, EPCC's chapter of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society students, along with faculty advisor Dr. Adriana Perez, will provide the Board of Trustees an update on their activities. Students will share information about the award of distinction received at the PTK National Conference by Dr. Sarata, as well as present other recognitions.
Hi, good evening. First, I'd like to thank the board for allowing us the space and the time to celebrate the accomplishments of Phi Theta Kappa in this last year. Personally, as a new advisor, I would like to thank everybody, the board, the institution, Dr. Serrata, Dean Evler, for all the support that we have received and for giving students the opportunity to grow not just academically, but as leaders, the next leaders of this community. So with that, I'd like to present our Phi Theta Kappa president, Mrs. Rachel Williams.
Good evening again. Thank you for having us. Along with myself is my amazing officer team from the Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society Omega Gamma chapter. There's Alessandra, Jennifer, Natasha, Vicente, and Megan. Sorry. So one of the reasons why we're here is, you flip the, okay. Oh. So what it means to be Phi Theta Kappa, we have been around for 101 years. We are the largest international honor society in the world. Oh, there we go. Four of the main things we focus on is scholarship, leadership, services, and fellowship. Part of the reason why we're here is because when we had our our Catalyst convention, where I nominated Dr. Serrata for the Shirley B. Gordon Award, which out of over 1,200 submissions, there was 15 winners, and he was one of the 15 to receive this award, which is the highest prestigious award to win for Phi Theta Kappa for a president of a college. Couple of things. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this. Go back. Oh, there. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Serrata, we made him an honorary member of fall of 2017 because he is a prime example of what it means to be a Phi Theta Kappan. He is a scholar, and not only do we know this because he's a doctor, but through all of the work that he has done since he's became the president in 2012. When I researched to look up about him, more information and stuff, when you research him, like when you, for like 2012, there's like about 7 things, 13, about 19 more things, and then it just keeps adding and adding. And all these news articles that he's done, he helps build his faculty. He's helped support scholarships such as the CREED, the Council on Regional Economic Expansion and Educational Development. He is constantly in the news, helping the community, helping the school. He's participated in our award ceremonies, and he's just amazing. He not only is an inspiration to myself, but he leads by example for all of the students at EPCC. And most importantly, being a student, being a college student, is having that support, and that's what he does for us. And that's why I nominated him for this award. So thank you, Dr. Serrata, for everything you do, not just for me, not just for Phi Theta Kappa, but for the school and the community at large. Can you click it? In addition to the Shirley B. Gordon Award, we would also like to give you another award that you were nominated for, which is the Hall of Honor, the Texas Hall of Honor for Chief Executive Officers. So we do have a medallion to give you. One other nomination that I submitted is for Professor Rohrbaugh. If you could come up here, please. I nominated him for the Friend of Texas Award because he has not only helped us with our projects, he has helped with workshops. He was the inspiration for our Honors in Action project. Myself, as well as 2 other members at that time, when we were taking his class, was inspired about the freshwater scarcity. And not only did he inspire us, but he also helped host workshops, as well as helped us network to get the action, to turn it from just an awareness to an actual action, and implementing it in over 15 schools. So, thank you. One last thing before we part is I would like to thank all of the Board of Trustees for everything you do. It is amazing, everything you do for the schools. Y'all do all the behind the scene things, and so we have a couple of thank you gifts that we would like to give you. For Miss Christina Sanchez.
Stay down there, Christina, and we'll get a picture with all of us.
Dr. Cameron O. Graham. Mr. Brian Haggerty. Mrs. Bonnie S. Nahira. Miss Belen Robles? Is she not here? Okay. Last but certainly not least, since you received one of our awards of appreciation thank you cards, I decided to give you something a little different. It's an award of outstanding leadership, because that's what you are. Dr. Serata, Dr. William Serata. May I give this one for y'all when y'all see her? Sorry. Okay.
Hey, Pamela?
Item 1.7.4, Dr. Kenneth Gonzalez, Vice President of Student and Enrollment Services, will make a presentation on the lights at EPCC.
Good evening, board members, Chair Haggerty, President Serata, my fellow EPCC community members, good evening. So I wanted to say quickly, I wanted to thank the students, Phi Theta Kappa, for your amazing work and your support. It was a great presentation. I want to thank the Student Government Association for facilitating a very informative and respectful conversation and presentation about our smoking policy, so thank you for that. So let me offer, kind of start off with a pop quiz. I was a faculty member before, and so anytime I get a chance to share any kind of insight, I'll take it. So the pop quiz is this, is for the board. What do you think is the most powerful marketing method? If you were to market a product, what's like the most powerful way to market that product?
Communication.
What was that?
Communication.
Communication, right. So I'll kind of just jump to it. The most powerful way is word of mouth, right? So someone has experienced something. I'm actually thinking of the movie Coco, which got like 1/10 of the marketing budget, but just won an Academy Award. Why? Because people saw the movie Coco, they had such a great experience, and they just word of mouth told everyone. So we have something like Coco. We have this incredible product, El Paso Community College. We have this incredible community. And when we have an opportunity to create those kind of moments, and we have those moments in the classroom, we have those moments outside of the classroom, and we have those moments at our events. And so what I'm talking about tonight is the lights at EPCC. And if you're not able to have that person-to-person interaction, that mouth-to-mouth conversation, the second best thing to do in marketing, if you're marketing your product, what we have now is a social media post. That means you've had such an experience and you're on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you're like, wow, that was great. I'm gonna post about that experience. So when we have our events, sometimes we have lots of events and we think, wow, how much did this event cost and the logistics, and you think about it, but what we get for that, we're hoping to get an experience that folks will post and say, wow, that was great. And what I experienced at EPCC was great. And that's what this is about. This is about, if we can move to the next one, this is an event to give an experience for our community, to build community. That involves live music and dance, games for kids and family members. And what's unique is we have these public art light structures that our faculty and staff and students are building. So we have departments, academic departments, student services departments, student organizations. We have high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, building these structures out of PVC pipe and using solar light strings to make them glow at nighttime. And so this is going to happen on Saturday, this Saturday, the 27th, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Valle Verde campus in the Americana Village. And the students are already setting up their structures, and they are amazing. These are some pictures from last year of the structures that were built, and they did an amazing job. And this year, it's going to be even better. So we'll have double the number of light structures. We'll have 6 hours of live music and performances, games for kids, as I said, food, car show. So it should be a special event, and we hope you can join us. Okay. Thank you very much.
Item 1.7.5, optional presentations will be made by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association.
Good afternoon. All right, hello, President Serrata, members of the board. Go ahead and let my colleagues get here. All right, so about 2 weeks ago, SGA attended the Texas Junior College Student Government Association Annual Convention in Dallas, Texas. And so just a little bit of background, TJC-SGA, which is the acronym, is the only student-maintained organization in the state that works to promote the cause of community college students at the local, regional, state, and national level. TJC-SGA represents over 70 member colleges and over 700,000 community, junior, and technical college students across the state of Texas. The annual TJC-SGA convention hosts several competitions that SGAs compete in. For example, there's a competition for best essay, best video, best scrapbook. And so I am proud to announce that we won first place for best essay, first place for best poem, first place for best community service. And not just that, we also won sweepstakes, which is an award that is given to the SGA that accumulated the most awards. So we are proud to have won all those awards. And moreover, and that's just the beginning. We also proposed a resolution concerning students who reside in Mexico that attend Texas community colleges. In this resolution, we acknowledge the hardships that those students face here at EPCC when the U.S. government threatened to shut down the border, and how the hysteria made the lines longer at ports of entry. And so our resolution was passed with a majority vote, and it was adopted by the delegation. So we are proud to have authored and passed that resolution. And moreover, we also ran for Region 1 President School against Amarillo College, and we won. And we also ran for State Executive Board Host School, and we won. And so we performed extremely well at this conference, and this ultimately reflects upon the talent, leadership, and commitment that the students of El Paso Community College have to offer. And so I'm very proud of how we did. And so I did provide Dr. Serrata with a copy of that resolution that we passed. And so I didn't bring a copy for the board and everybody else, and I didn't bring the awards, my bad. But yeah, we'll bring them next time. And the last thing I want to touch on is the college's smoking policy. You heard it from students, you heard it from faculty, you heard it from members of the community, and so there's just no valid reason why we shouldn't be a smoke-free college. It is not controversial. It is a sensible mainstream solution that other colleges have adopted. Austin Community College, Berlin College, Amarillo College, I could go on and on. Again, there's no valid reason why we should not be smoke-free, and I strongly hope you consider that. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Before you sit down, some of the board members brought our can of food. Last month, I mentioned that we were going to start every month on the board meeting. Just make a note that you bring a can of food so we can put food into the food bank. So we have some cans of food, so if you all want to come up and collect them.
Yeah, of course. We'll be right up there. And I want to thank Ms. Nájera, Trustee Nájera, for providing me with a bag of coupons and cans of food. So thank you so much. And again, we appreciate this.
Okay, well, we got them up here. So
all right, cool.
Make sure
Let's
you
go.
come up and get 'em. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Good evening. Tonight, the board address that we have for you will focus on our election results. See, Brian's even taller than I am. But it also probably behooves me to go ahead and address the topic of the night, which is the proposed revisions to the college smoking policy. First of all, as a public speaking instructor, I always think it's very impressive when we see young adults able to get up in front of a board, and so I salute each and every student who came and spoke tonight. I also salute the faculty from the respiratory division of my faculty who presented. We don't disagree about the impact of secondhand smoke. That is something that all the constituency groups have agreed upon as being very, very important. But to all the passionate dialogue that has happened tonight, I would also like to add that the proposal does ban all tobacco products, not just smoking. And so the objection of the Faculty Association is when it comes to smoke-free items such as snuff or chewing tobacco, these have no deleterious secondhand effects. And if an adult chooses to engage in an otherwise legal practice, then that is their prerogative. It is not something we would advise, and we would hope through education that we can deter. But is it my place to tell them that they cannot do something that has no impact on myself? And so as you review the policy at your retreat, I encourage you to go ahead and look at those details as well. Now I am going to hand the mic over to a member of my elections committee to share the results of the Faculty Senate and Association elections.
Thank you, President Bell. My name is Albert Burnham. I'm a professor of history and district chair of the history discipline. I'm on the election committee, and I will give you the results. Oh, pardon me, I forgot to mention, thank you, board members, for having us, and thank you, my esteemed bowling nemesis, President Serrata. Here are the results of the faculty election. President Bell has been re-elected president. I suppose I should add she ran unopposed. Nobody else had the courage to run against her. She's that great. Vice President Rudy Hernandez remains as vice president. The adjunct vice president is Robert Moreno. He was appointed this last year, so he ran for election this time. Secretary re-elected is Celeste Favela. And now for the senator positions. Full-time senator at Rio Grande, Deborah Tomicelli-Brock. Full-time senator at Mission, Tim Groover. Full-time senator from the ASC, Marta Edwards. Full-time senator from Northwest, Melissa Esmacher. Full-time senator from Trans Mountain, Michael Coulihan. Full-time senator at Valle Verde, Christian Servine. Adjunct senator Northwest, Renee Castaneda. Adjunct senator Trans Mountain, Marie Espinosa. Adjunct senator Valle Verde, Angie Morgan Thornton. One election at one campus at Rio Grande for adjunct senator, there was a tie. So we will have to determine how to break that tie. Coin flip, pick names out of a hat. You know, we're open. What, the scissor, paper, rock, you know. Two places for adjunct, the ASC and Mission. Nobody ran there, and under the Senate bylaws, those can be filled by the president in a manner decided by her. So, two open positions. Any questions? Okay. As a member of the Faculty Senate, I would also like to address the smoking issue. During this whole debate, I also agree smoking is awful. I think it's terrible. It stinks. Chewing tobacco is especially, yuck. I tried it, I know. But we do have members of the EPCC community who do smoke. And Faculty Senate has offered several reasonable compromises to the Student Association. Compromises that would be beneficial to all involved, including setting up designated smoking areas, moving the smoking line further than 15 feet away from doors. All of these compromises have been rejected by the student government. They are unwilling, in my view, to offer any compromises. But we have offered them. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 1.8, communications, none. Item 1.9, Board of Trustee business. Item 1.9.1, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata to execute a letter of support or no objection on behalf of the college for a minor boundary modification application to Foreign Trade Zone number 68 with Caesar Scott Incorporated.
Move to approve.
Before we take a vote, can somebody come up and, for the benefit of the public, explain what this item is?
I believe, did you all get a handout from?
Yes, but at least as it's a public meeting, we can have some discussion on it.
Well, if
Is
there's
there someone
anyone
here to
here
talk
that
about
can
it?
speak about it. We did get a handout on it. You want to table it?
Yes, I'd like to table it so that whoever needs to talk about it, or at least give an overview, that we at least can have a preparation. I know about these foreign trade zones. Within my own governmental entity, we do this all the time. They're pretty routine, but I'd like an explanation as to what it is for the benefit of the public before voting on it. I personally feel more comfortable about it. If you all want to take a vote, go ahead.
Well, make a motion.
There was already a motion on the table, Judge.
Okay, we don't have a second. Do you want to make a motion to table?
There's no second?
Nope.
No. Okay. Motion to postpone till the next board meeting?
Second.
Call a question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye, and are we talking about both 1.91 and 1.92?
The only item that was read into the record was 1.91, but it would also be applicable to 1.92. So if you want to go ahead and read that
Yes,
into
can
the
we
record.
get it both?
Would you like me to read
Why don't we
1
finish 1.91 and then we'll go to
Yeah, we'll make a
1.9.
motion for the next one.
So do you have a vote on 1.91?
Yes.
Sheep's vote is. Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.9.2, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata to execute a letter of support or no objection on behalf of the college for a minor boundary modification application to Foreign Trade Zone number 68 with TVL Incorporated.
Motion to postpone till next board meeting?
Second.
Call a question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.9.3.
Go ahead and read.
Go ahead and read it. Discussion and take appropriate action on pending litigation styled Elizabeth O'Gean Ryan versus El Paso Community College in the El Paso County Community College District, cause number 2018 DCV 1396, pending in the 205th District Court, El Paso County, Texas.
A move to move this item till after executive session.
Second.
Call the question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.10, Board Reports. Item 1.10.1, Treasurer's Report, March 31st, 2019. No action is necessary. Item 1.10.2, President's Report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. Serrata will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college.
Judge Haggerty, members of the board, let me begin by thanking our amazing students for Phi Theta Kappa, Rachel Williams, and Dr. Perez as the advisor for the incredible honor that they bestowed on me. I'm humbled beyond belief and can't thank you all enough for all that you did. It was a wonderful experience, so thank you. April's been an exciting month for El Paso Community College. April is Community College Month, which celebrates the important work community colleges are doing as the primary access point for students to access higher education. EPCC is no exception. We're the largest, most affordable post-secondary educational institution that provides high-quality education to students in our region. Throughout April, our marketing team under the leadership of Interim Director Jim Heine has been continuing our student success campaign, sharing EPCC success stories on social media and with our local news outlets. In April, the college was featured in more than 40 print stories, and our students, faculty, and programs were featured on more than a dozen radio and talk and television interviews. The college was featured on a 2-hour live broadcast of the El Paso History Radio Show hosted by Jackson Polk and Melissa Sargent on KTSM 690. Thank you to Mrs. Robles, to Leon Blevins, to Mary Yanez, and others who shared their stories about EPCC during this program. Community College Month kicked off with a resolution by the County of El Paso and also a proclamation from the City of El Paso. On April 18th, the college hosted the kickoff of the renewed commitment of the El Paso Collaborative for Academic Excellence, which gathered local educational, business, workforce, and community leaders to focus on collaborative efforts for nurturing, growing, and keeping El Paso's talent. EPCC is proud to play a leadership role with this dynamic network of stakeholders in our community, committed to increasing student success, educational attainment, and strengthening economic development in our region. Together, our goal is to align our regional strategies to ensure all students achieve their goals while also working towards a high-skilled, high-wage jobs in our community. This is a collective impact initiative that we have been fortunate to be a part of, and we're excited about the progress that we're making. We released a scorecard in several segments where the region is ahead of the state, and some where we're making progress and catching up to the state. April's also been an eventful month for our 50th anniversary celebration, which is co-chaired by Lisa Elliott and Carrie Moe, and a large committee with representation college-wide. If you have driven by downtown at night, and I got a text from Mr. Uxer when he was leaving class one evening, you will have seen the letters EPCC are lit up on the Wells Fargo Bank building. This vibrant display, and they're in teal, by the way, Dr. Graham. This vibrant display commemorates both Community College Month and the college's 50th anniversary. Having our name featured on one of the largest downtown buildings is a reminder that we are a college for the community and that we are transforming the region. We kicked off the month by accepting a resolution from the House of Representatives, the State House of Representatives, sponsored by Representative Art Fierro. House Resolution 798 officially commemorated El Paso Community College's 50th anniversary of its founding, and the resolution was prepared for EPCC as an expression of high regard by the Texas House of Representatives. On April 6, nearly 3,000 individuals from the community visited our Valle Verde campus during the 50th anniversary open house featuring the Creative Kitty Corner. The event expanded on the annual Creative Kitty Corner organized by Ms. Arvis Jones and her teams in student leadership and campus life and the Student Government Association. Adding to this, Ms. Rebecca Bell and Soraya Hajar brought faculty from more than 25 disciplines to showcase their programs to potential students, and the Spring Arts Festival under the leadership of Caroline Wolf Gurley and her committee also offered special programming for participants. Many thanks to the marketing chef Jesus Lugo and the Student Culinary Club, along with the many other individuals that made this event a success. This was an exciting event which highlighted the many opportunities that make EPCC the best place to start and finish. On April 18th, we officially opened the Honoring the Past, Building the Future exhibition at the El Paso Museum of History in collaboration with the City of El Paso's Museum and Cultural Affairs Department. This exhibition in particular has been more than a year in the making. Hours of time researching the college's history, documenting artifacts, and collaborating with the fantastic team from the El Paso and the Museum of History has taken place in order to bring this exhibition to the public. This significant effort was led by El Paso Community College history professor Vanessa Camacho, along with librarians Tony Rodarte and Kristen Sanchez, along with dedicated members of the 50th Anniversary History and Archive Subcommittee, Leo Alferez, Carrasco, Lorelie Ambris, Jim Heine, Miranda Rodarte, and Mary Yanez. Thank you to Mrs. Robles and Judge Haggerty for speaking at the opening event, and to Chef Nickerson, Chef Daniel Guerra, and the culinary arts students, as well as the other board members who were able to make it. Many thanks to the many employees, students, alumni, and community members who submitted items for exhibit. Town halls events are taking place at each of our campuses, and that began today at the Trans Mountain campus and will continue through next week. These are just a few of the examples of the 50th anniversary and Community College Month that have taken place throughout the college. In addition, Ms. Christian Gail Sanchez, our district-wide library coordinator at the Rio Grande campus and head librarian, was awarded Librarian of the Year by the Border Regional Library Association. The award was presented at the Border Regional Library Association banquet held February 24th at Art of Vino's Desert Crossing. Kristen is a well-respected leader and informed resource person to all library staff, faculty, and coworkers, as well as our students. Her many contributions include numerous college improvements achieved through committee work and strategic administrative appointments. She is dedicated to her librarianship profession and very deserving of this award, so congratulations to Kristen. Thank you to the district-wide library staff and to Dr. Paula Mitchell, our soon-to-be Associate Vice President of Instruction and Student Success, as well as the Dean of Health, Career and CTE, Math and Science at the Rio Grande campus. Dean, the 2017 annual report for the Diagnostic Medical Sonography Program was reviewed and has been accepted by the Joint Review Committee on Education in Diagnostic Medical Sonography. The program received no recommendations. Congratulations to the program coordinator, Nora Balderas, instructor Eloy Tinajero, adjunct faculty, students, and to Dr. Paula Mitchell. Students in the Fashion Club designed and created scarves for the rescue mission. They participated in the 50 Acts of Caring Scarves project and delivered scarves to the rescue mission. The event was posted on Facebook with over 900 views, capturing the excitement of the students and the success they had with this caring act. Congratulations to members of the faculty club, Jennifer Castillo, President, Ray Fernandez, Vice President, Victoria Holguin, Treasurer, and Vanessa Ramirez, the advisor. Thank you for the hard work and leadership of Vanessa Ramirez, Fashion Tech Faculty Coordinator, to the students, and to Dean Rick Webb from our Trans Mountain campus for his support and participation in this community project. Ms. Blessings Savusa, a student in the Rise to the Challenge Bridge program, received an award for her poster presentation titled Identifying and Characterizing Cultivable Bacteria Obtained from the Intestine of the Euphemia scalopes. So contrary to the gentleman who spoke earlier, I don't have that kind of doctorate. The award was presented to the by the American Society of Microbiology Rio Grande Branch annual meeting on Saturday, April 13th in Socorro, New Mexico. Congratulations to Blessing on her award, to Dr. Maria Alvarez, Professor and Coordinator of the Biology Rise and Build Program Director, and to Dean Rick Webb. For that great work, Mr. John Holguin, physics instructor at the Northwest and Valle Verde campus, received notification on the selection of El Paso Community College to partner with the GLOBE program. The goals are to enhance educational opportunities and support services to EPCC, to prepare students for future careers in STEM, and to learn atmospheric processes, which include installing weather stations at each of the campuses and collaborating with Indian Ridge Middle School on globe-related projects. Congratulations to John Holguin, the physics faculty, and again to Dean Webb for supporting the weather station. The faculty and staff awards dinner will take place at the Hilton Garden Inn on Gateway Boulevard East on Friday, May the 3rd. And commencement, the time of year that we all look forward to, will be held on Friday, May 17th at the Don Haskins Center at UTEP. There will be two ceremonies at 2 p.m. and at 5:30 p.m. And our speaker is Dr. Belle Whelan, who is the president of the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. As the board can see, it has been quite a month for the college, and that concludes my report, Judge Haggerty.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shred. Okay, Pam?
Item 1.11, consent docket. This includes item 3.2.
Move to approve.
Second?
Call the question.
Ms. Sanchez. Aye. Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 2.0, administration. Item 2.1.1, the following policy is presented for first reading. 4.06.01, investments policy. No action is necessary.
I have a question. Can I ask a question on that? So on page 78, when it speaks to the training, I understand that's the only change from the previous one?
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not specific enough, at least from the way I read it. I just have the question on that. So if we are going to be attending at least one training session, does that leave it up to us to find the training session, or is it gonna be something that we're gonna be told, it's available on this day? Or the other thing is, how long are these training sessions? Is there a requirement, like 6 hours, 3 hours? Or?
So the Board of Trustees receives actually like a video from the THECB on the requirements for training for the board. For the investment officers, which includes Mr. Flores, myself, Ms. Zuniga, we are required to have one training session every 2 years. Within 6 months of being an investment officer, you have to have one training session, which is usually 10 hours. So the Public Funds Investment Act is very clear on what is it we need to do in community colleges for training. And there are only some sources that are approved. Not every source of training is an approved resource for us to have training. So what you have listed here, we just added another entity that provides the training on an annual basis.
Okay, but.
Did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
We need to seek that out ourselves, or will you let us know, hey, this
No,
is
for you, we will
available?
Provide the video for yes,
Okay, it's
We
probably
will
gonna be in Chinese, so will you help us with it? At least for me, I'm not at the level that you are with the investment.
Absolutely.
Language, thank you. That's it.
I
So-
have a couple of questions. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, so we have some time before we need to complete it.
Yes, I think for board members is within 6 months of being elected, being on board. You have to, as a board member, you have to view that video, which, by the way, I don't think has been updated by the coordinating board.
If I could make a comment, all of our current board have been provided the video, or also they receive the same training if they attend the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Annual Conference that's held in November. So if you've gone to it once or attended it once, you have fulfilled that requirement.
So it's the same training?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for the investment officers, we have to have training every 2 years. And this is something that our auditors do review, do ask us, did you attend your training? Show me your certificate of completion for that training. If we do not complete that training, you will see that mentioned. You'll hear the auditor letting you know that in January when they present on the audit report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Shaughnessy, may I ask some questions?
Sure.
Thank you. Throughout, I was looking at the investment policies, and I just needed some clarification, and maybe this is something that can get cleaned up as it gets brought before the board again.
Sure.
There's different references to the community college. So at the beginning of the policy, it's referenced as El Paso County Community College District. And then throughout the document, it mentions if the district, but then it interchanges at some point with if the college. Is that the same? Are we referencing the same entity, the El Paso Community College?
We are, and we certainly can be consistent throughout the document.
Yeah, I just think
this
for-
is first reading,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
thank you for pointing that
No,
out to
of
us. We will
course.
make the necessary corrections.
Of course, thank you. And then the other question I had is, does the college have an investment advisor? Do you all do that?
We actually, because we do not, we have, most of our investments are either at the bank in the form of repurchase agreement or at the investment pools, which this board has approved. We do not have an investment advisor. We would have to go through actually an RFQ process to
Yes, ma'am.
select
Yes, ma'am.
advisor. But investment advisor costs money, and so therefore we are very careful because we are very conservative in the way that we invest,
Right.
and because the investment pools are really the vehicle by which we invest our money. Right now, we do not have an investment advisor. We have a financial advisor.
That's right.
That's separate from an investment advisor.
And I know that governmental entities traditionally are conservative with their investments, as they should be, that these are public
Public
funds. We
funds.
have those investment pools that are out there.
That's right.
I was wondering, though, I guess from the college's perspective, and maybe this is a discussion that could be had again later once we go along and can get a little bit more in depth into the policy, as to whether or not that is something that has been looked at in terms of taking a little bit more of a risk, and if not, the reasons why that might be a good idea. I think traditionally you can just say, well, governmental entity, let's be more conservative with the investments that we pursue. But I'd like more of an explanation, maybe that philosophy and that thought process, and really what that recommendation would be from a policy standpoint. And so that's why I brought up the question on the investment advisor, as to whether or not that may be something, maybe not this year or years ahead, that the college maybe would want to look at, completely understand the investment into an investment advisor and what that would cost. But maybe weighing those options to see really what is out there.
Absolutely.
And those are just comments.
We certainly
Yeah.
can consider that. Under the Public Funds Investment Act, we are very limited in what we can
That's
invest
right.
in.
Yeah, so I'm
So
familiar with
preservation
the
of
act.
principle is really the most important objective. And you will notice that in a policy, we are restricted in what we can invest in.
Yes, ma'am.
But certainly we will consider that in the
And that's
future.
policy-based, right? And I'm familiar
is.
with the Public Investments Act, but policy-based is, of course, recommendations, but certainly to be in line with what the law provides. But we can talk about that later. Just
Thank
some
you.
thoughts. Thank you, Ms. Shaughnessy.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Any other questions? Item 3.1, full-time institutionally funded actions.
Move to approve.
Second?
Ms.
Call the
Sanchez.
question.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 3.3, information items, no action is required. Item 4.1, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of pilot funds from the Housing Authority of the City of El Paso in the amount of $20,265.79.
Move
This
to
is-
approve?
This is the item that we have to take no action so that the
Oh.
monies can pass to the young lady that gave us that great presentation
From the
on
one?
the YMCA. So I ask the board to please do not consider this item.
Item 4.2.
Wait, hold on. So for item 4.1, it's posted as consideration and deliberation on the acceptance. Is the recommendation no action on that, or is it a motion to?
I make
not
a motion
waive?
that no action be taken so
So
that
we
the
don't need
funds
an
can
act-
pass through to the YMCA.
So then we do need action in terms of, is it a waiver of the acceptance of those pilot funds then? Or are we taking no action? Because if we are taking action in terms of waiving it, then I think that needs to be on the record. Otherwise, no action is just no action. It doesn't do, nothing happens.
Okay?
So can we get some guidance?
That's a legal question.
Yeah. Or what do you need us to do? I understand the waiver.
So in the past,
Mhm.
the way that this motion was presented is that there was no action from the Board of Trustees, there was no action. The understanding is that those funds would then be channeled to the YWCA.
Who channels those funds?
Well, we go ahead and we send them.
So then it would be an action then by the community college then to channel those funds to the YWCA, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that what the college does?
Yes, ma'am.
So then there is some sort of action that would probably be needed. So my recommendation would be then, the motion would be to waive the acceptance of the pilot funds from the Housing Authority of the City of El Paso in the amount of $20,265.79, and further to channel those funds to the YWCA.
Second.
Yes? Okay.
Any question?
Thank you.
Call a question.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.2, consideration and deliberation on the approval of adding a signatory on bank resolutions for Wells Fargo Bank N.A.
So my motion would be to approve Mr. Haggerty as board chair to serve as the appointed signatory on the bank resolutions for the contract as provided in action item 4.2.
Second.
Any questions? Call a question.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 5.0, physical facilities, there are none. Item 6.1, consideration and deliberation on approving an agreement with Lumen Learning to provide open educational resources for courses in the amount of $75,000.
Move to approve?
Second.
Are these for the question before we take the vote? Are these for the ebooks? Is this what this is?
Ms. Sanchez, these are for what we call open educational resources, typically in the form of ebooks or other e-materials that are provided to the students.
And so then the fee, what is charged to the students?
The students receive a $20 charge for the course that uses the OER materials, and that's in lieu of any textbook charge.
And for that specific fee, is it for access to the, I'll call it the online access to that particular book, or does that fee get divided up and serve other purposes for the purposes of this contract? Does it go anywhere else, or is it just access to those, to that electronic?
It doesn't just go to the book.
Okay.
It doesn't go anywhere else, but there are other materials that are part of these OER courses or supplemental materials that are also available to the student through the $20 fee.
And those supplemental materials, are those online or are those, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Call a question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.2, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of a Skills for Transition Program grant award from the Texas Workforce Commission in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Move to approve.
Second. Any questions? Call the question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.3, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of a grant award from State Farm Insurance in an amount not to exceed $12,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Call the question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 7.0, student services, there are none. Item 8.0, community services, none. Item 9.0,
Executive session.
okay. The Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to the Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons. One, consultation with its attorneys to seek or receive legal advice or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation or for any purpose authorized by law. Two, discussion about the value or transfer of real property. Three, discussion about a prospective gift or donation. Four, consideration of specific personnel matters. Five, discussion about security, personnel or devices. Or six, discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Discuss pending litigation styled Elizabeth O'Gain Ryan versus El Paso Community College in the El Paso County Community College District. Cause number 2018 DCV 1396, pending in the 205th District Court, El Paso County, Texas. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, discuss the college's legal rights and responsibilities regarding Senate Bill 2344 and Texas House Bill 3835. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, discuss employment-related compensation issues regarding Gabriel Saucedo pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 and 551.074. Board of Trustees is reconvened in regular session. The time is 8:19 p.m. You want to go straight to item 1.9.3? Item 1.9.3, discussion and take appropriate action on pending litigation styled Elizabeth O'Gain Ryan versus El Paso Community College in the El Paso County Community College District. Cause number 2018 DCV 1396, pending in the 205th District Court, El Paso County, Texas.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the settlement agreement under the terms as discussed in executive session with Elizabeth O'Gain Ryan in cause number 2018 DCV 1396.
Second.
Any question? Call the question?
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. And I believe our next board meeting will be May 29th at 5:30. And we have another meeting set up, a special meeting on May the 8th at 4:30 also, was that correct, ma'am? 4:30?
4:30.
On the 8th?
Yes, sir.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So made.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.